smelled the coffee, and it reminded me that I had a friend in class that she didn't like to drink coffee, but every time I came in with coffee, she just wanted to sit there and smell it. Like, she'd be like, can I just smell your
Yeah,
coffee?
because it smells great.
I know.
Coffee smells amazing.
It was just funny. She's like, no, I don't want to sip. Can I just hold it and smell it? And I was like, go for it.
I think I started actually drinking coffee when I was your age, and it was because of the smell, which I was in college, like new in college, and then I started smelling coffee, and I was like, whoa, adults drink coffee. Maybe I'll start drinking coffee. And then I did, and then, here we are 20 years into the addiction, and it's now there's Vente dark coffee, which is not how it started, but you're about to jump on that train. So I'm here with Maddie, and Maddie and I have been working on this record for, try to figure it out. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, how did this start?
Like all of it or the record itself?
Just the process of all of your artist development from the American Idol audition, where we initially connected, all the way to being done with the record and coming out.
Long.
With
long
COVID
time.
in the middle.
Yeah.
See, that's why this is like an interesting story.
Yeah.
I think there's only so many records that sort of got made during this COVID period.
Right.
And yours is one of them. And that's, I think, really interesting. I think it's really interesting. So I think I'm glad that we had this time to do like the podcast, because I think it's cool. So American Idol, we met here with Lion City,
mm-hmm.
which was a management company, and then I had you in like a band. Tell me a little bit about what you remember from like the band experience part of it.
It was fun. It was definitely a lot different, like kind of sharing ideas on the spot with people, because I was so used to being like, nope, let me work through this. Let me decide if this is appropriate, like if this is what I want to share, versus it just kind of being like, we're all sharing ideas together, like at once.
Okay.
I think it was one of those settings where it was like, I was always used to like not putting my ideas in, because like in school, nobody wants to put their ideas in, because someone's always like, that's dumb. That's like, I don't want to listen to that. And then coming into music and it not really being like that, everyone kind of being like, okay, we can work with that, but what if we did it like this way? Or what if we did this?
So how is music different from, say, like theater in that regard, in the ideas creative regard?
I think the thing with music is you can really take it literally any way you want to take it. And you can change everything about it. With theater, there's only so much you can change before it changes the whole meaning of the story. Like with individual songs, you can kind of do whatever you want, and you have a lot more free reign, I think, than theater, where there's a certain point you get to where you're like, okay, now we're starting to look like we're changing how this song is going to affect the rest of the story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, with theater you have a script. And
I do like scripts.
Yeah, and that's what classical music is.
Yeah.
You know, classical music is the script, and jazz is like breaking the script. Mm-hmm. And then what you're doing is just creating the script. Mm-hmm. There's kind of like 3 levels of storytelling, and when you do a solo record like you did, the creativity is all you, and how the project comes together. So it's, you write the script and then you perform it. So it's kind of like what Quentin Tarantino does, like everything,
Yeah.
like it's your thing. So I like that aspect of it. But okay, so let's go through the story with the band. Who was in the band?
It was Greg, Daniel, and me.
Okay, cool.
And our little group.
Nice. Awesome. What were you guys called?
Oh God, I don't actually remember what we called ourselves. Yeah. I don't think we ever settled on a name.
Yeah.
I think my mom had a lot of ideas.
Okay.
More than we did.
Cool.
But I don't think we ever settled on a name.
Yeah.
I don't think we got to that. I think it was just like, okay, let's just work on the music first, and then we'll worry about a name.
And then why didn't we get to that?
COVID got in the middle of that one.
Lots of fun. I remember we were at this place down here, the Hong Kong Inn, mm-hmm. and it was kind of a last minute show. I wanted to have a show for you guys because I felt bad. Like, it seemed like a month or two had passed and there hadn't been like an opportunity for you guys to play. I was like, oh, let's do this. And then that was the night. I remember coming from my wife's business. She was having a little grand opening party, and they like shut down the NBA, and Tom Hanks got COVID. And it was like instantly, like one night, and it was that night. And we showed up, and you guys were there, and everyone was kind of like, "Whoa, this is getting crazy."
Yeah.
And that was like sort of the beginning of it, and then right after that, you started playing more and practicing, and then you like came to me with these songs. So we started doing the record as a solo project. Tell me a little bit about the first song, which was the I'm having trouble breathing. Da, da, da.
Oh, the body I was born in.
Yeah. Do you want to jump
one.
into that?
That one was definitely. I think that's definitely one of my more like depressing songs. But I think you gotta have a good depressing song. If you don't, your life's not that perfect. Nobody's life is that perfect.
Sure,
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I think that was the one that I started with because I think it was a lot easier for me at the time to find all the things to be sad about and depressed about and put them in a song. It's a lot easier to find that. I think in general, it's a lot easier to find things to be upset about than to enjoy when you want to be upset about everything.
Okay.
Because that's definitely where I was. I think it's fun. It's so much nicer to be able to see the things that you enjoy, but I think I was definitely in a state of mind where it was so much easier to find everything to be upset about. It was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. This is upsetting.
Yes.
And
keep going.
And so that was definitely something that I was like, okay, I could write a song about this. But I always started writing bits of pieces of it, and then I'd be like, this is too emo. This is like teen angst. I don't want to write about this. But then I got to this song and I was like, okay, actually, this isn't quite as angsty. This is a little more relatable, I think, than some of the other stuff that I was writing about that I was like, I think I'm going to get tired of listening to that after a minute. And I didn't get tired of listening to this one. I was like, okay, maybe this is a little more true to how I feel than what I'm upset about in the moment. Yeah.
And if we had run with take me through the lyrics. Just say like verse chorus, for instance.
I'm having trouble sleeping. I can't seem to keep breathing with the words inside my head. And then my chorus is like, I don't like the body I was born in. I'm trying not to cry even when the rain is pouring. My head is pounding and my heart is suffocating. And I think that a lot of that was just me trying to be like, I'm trying to think of something else. I'm trying to think of something else, but it feels impossible. Especially I love my mom, but we call her a pessimistic optimist.
I love your mom too.
And
your mom is awesome. Let's just interject. I mean, like it takes an amazing person to want to bring you to a studio every single for years. Yeah, she's got your back.
She does.
Yeah,
but we like to call her the pessimistic optimist because my dad's just the biggest optimist you ever meet. He's the guy that wakes up at freaking the butt crack of dawn and is like, the birds are chirping. Everybody get up. Everybody get up. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And my mom and I are like, David, I swear to God, give us one more hour of sleep if you want any peace of mind for the rest of the day.
Interesting. Yeah.
But she was always like, come on. We got to be happy about this. And I'm like, just give me a minute. Give me a minute to be sad about it. And then I'll go look for the happy thing in it. But I need my little moment to vent, to get it out. And then be like, okay, that was dramatic. Let's move on.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what this song was.
Yeah.
You know? Especially when you get to the chorus, the hook, that I don't like the body I was born in. That is a very intense line.
Yeah.
I usually don't get lines that intense. And that's what took it over from not the teenage angst. Mm-hmm. This wasn't like, my heart is broken, I will never... You know, usually there's that teenage
right.
It's all over.
Yeah.
You know, Timmy doesn't like me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, whoa, it's way too far. But this was very specific. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think that song is gonna move people. I think it's a really powerful line. Okay, next song. We did we did one that was kind of based just on the hook of the bum 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 ba-dum, bum bum bum. I like how that one came together because that was like the last song to kind of come together. And tell me about that verse. Tell me those lyrics and how that came together.
I'm tired of being walked on.
Yeah.
That one, that one definitely may or may not have been about a boy, but I learned that I don't have to write it that way.
That's fine.
But I like that for me
great.
because I was definitely really self-conscious about writing about like personal relationship experiences because like I know that everybody has them, but it was one of those, everybody has them. And sure, it could be a relatable song, but it feels very overwritten about if I just write it that way.
Okay.
Because there's so many good, love songs and breakup songs. And I was like, this isn't necessarily a love song or a breakup song or someone that I was like dating because it was just someone that I liked. And I definitely think my friends always yell at me because they're like, Maddie, you don't have to be that nice to people. And I was like, but like you do. Why? And they're like, no, like there's nice. And then there's like overexerting yourself for other people that is not being asked of you. Yeah. And I never had that concept because I was like, you're just supposed to do as much as you can for everyone you can. And that was definitely when I was like, oh, this is why I am so emotionally drained all of the time is I'm trying to help everybody else and avoiding like, all the things that I need help with. I was like, if I just help everyone else, I can ignore what I need help with because then I don't have to think about it and I don't have the energy to do it. Yeah. But in the end, that wasn't helping me. And, I'm just avoiding the problem. But we got timers. That's me. But then I started to realize that and I was like, why am I doing this? There are plenty of other things that I could be spending my time on and not just letting people walk all over me. And I definitely had like a moment of realization with that with the specific person that I was talking to because, of course I was like moving to college and stuff. And that was kind of like them being like, well, you're going to be moving away. And I was like, okay, we still have like 3 months of summer and, everything else. But they were kind of like, no. But then they still expected a lot of me emotionally, even though we weren't kind of in that relationship or looking towards it that we had been.
Got it.
And I was like, okay, I'm not your best friend and I can't be because of our relationship before. And also, I don't feel like the same is reciprocated for me. So I think that there is a little bit of an unbalance in what you think our relationship is here, sir. And
okay.
So then that was kind of my moment of like, oh my gosh.
Tired of being walked on.
Yeah, tired of being walked on. Let me just. Yeah. I think that's just boundaries is definitely something that I'm learning to set a lot more because I didn't set those before because it was one of those things that I was too nervous to set them and people think I was mean. Yeah. Because there's always this concept of when people set boundaries that they're mean. When they're not. They're like, this is, like, I'm not telling you you've done something wrong. I'm telling you this is where my little line is. We just don't cross it. And people are like, yeah, that's so rude. And
no,
you're like, why?
That's a good lesson. That's necessary. You have to
set boundaries. It's a hard one.
It is a hard bound. Yeah, it is. Especially when you're an empathetic person like you, like just what you said, you're trying to feel what other people feel because you're nice. And that somehow works its way into being nice, right? Yeah. Like, I don't want to feel what this person feels. But yeah, setting that makes sense. That's important. That's cool.
It's hard, but it's important.
Yeah.
It's definitely easy when you talk to people about it and they're like, Maddie, that doesn't make sense when you say it out loud. And I'm like, no, yeah,
it does.
No, it doesn't. But
that's one of those lines too that kind of came together in the studio. When Ben was here, he was doing some keyboard work for us. Ben Babylon, great player. He heard the hook "Tired of Being Walked On," and it was just kind of like a lead in, but it was his idea to like repeat it in the chorus as the hook. So we had the bum 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 part, and then we had the "Tired of Being Walked On." And "Tired of Being Walked On" became like the lyrical content of that, and that's a strong line. It's really strong. Yeah, Okay. Last song, we've got the cover of Someone Like You, which I'm really stoked on because I haven't heard too many covers of this song. And I think we did it really well. I think we did it in like a big way, but in a way that's still like intimate. It starts with the piano. I really like the way we produced that. I feel like adding a beat to it and adding a little bit of like movement in the chorus. I mean, Adele is just so great.
Yeah.
It's a hard song to mess up.
Yeah.
But it would be easy to make it too cheesy.
Yeah.
Or it would be easy to make it too, I know you're in community theater, but it would be easy to make it too community theater.
Oh, no,
right?
yeah.
You know, it looks like a high school recital or something.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the right way to do the song. But
Right.
I think how we did this song was really cool and really solid. Do you have any thoughts on that song and how we did this song?
I like it. I mean, it's hard. Like, I know that like everybody loves Adele. And I think that Adele was definitely one of the people who got me into music. So it's nice to have that be like kind of one of the first things that I really release is going to be like a cover of Adele. Because she was definitely the person that I think musically inspired me the most growing up. It was something that was always in our house because my mom loved it and it was always on the radio and everybody knew who Adele was. And I just really liked the kind of poppy jazz tone in her voice. Not necessarily jazz, but I felt like, Adele has a lot of soul. And it never felt like it drew your attention away from the song either. And I don't know. Also, for some reason, when I was younger, fun little tidbit, I don't know why, but I was convinced that Adele looked like my neighbor. And I don't know where I got that concept because I'd never seen Adele. But like, I just felt like she was kind of like this embodiment of my neighbor. And I'm not super close with any of my neighbors, so I don't know why that idea came into my mind as a little kid. And they don't look anything alike. Like, I'm looking at them now. First of all, they're like 30 years apart. And I don't think they have a similar feature. But little me was convinced that that's who it was. And the funniest part now is that neighbor has become like super involved in like my stuff and has been to a couple of my shows and stuff like that. So it just ended up being really funny that way. Yeah.
It's interesting as a producer hearing the generation of young women that grew up with Adele as sort of the queen.
Yeah.
For people my age, like they grew up, Mariah Carey was like the queen. And so now that, like Celine Dion and people of that time. But now Adele is like, we're far enough into her career that she's sort of the singing queen, not the pop queen, but like the vocalist, the technique, the style.
Yeah.
She's the top of that. And it's cool hearing you guys interpret that for your generation. Like, you're what's next. I'm like 2 steps behind and she's in the middle. So it's cool. It's really cool to hear that your generation's interpretation of Adele. And hopefully this cover is like, that. Yeah. It's really cool. All right. We're going to wrap up this segment and we'll get to another one. But we'll be right back.
Okay.